I unwittingly created a family with my next-door neighbor and her son. 3 years ago a woman named Cassie, 32F, and her son Kenny, 13M, moved into the apartment next door. They had a few boxes, so I figured I'd, 31M, offer to help and get off to a good start. I noticed Kenny had a PS4, so I told him that I game as well, and he was free to come over and play my systems anytime he wanted if his mother allowed it. I have a PS5, Switch and PC as an FYI. Since I'm a mechanic, I told Cassie if she had car trouble she could come to me anytime since I help out a lot of other people on the floor with their cars as well. She accepted. I didn't really interact with either Kenny or Cassie besides a few hays for a few weeks initially. But a little more than a month after moving in, Cassie knocked on my door and asked if I could check her car because the engine wasn't turning over. Turns out the spark plugs needed to be changed, which was easy enough to do. Cassie was very thankful for my help and offered to pay, but I told her it was no problem. She invited me to dinner with her and Kenny and I was hesitant to accept, but she insisted on it. The next day we had dinner and it was a good time. I learned a lot about her and talked to Kenny more. He's a good kid, really into games, science and his guitar. We even all went over to my place for some Mario Kart. From then on I got really close to Kenny. I viewed him like a little brother. He came over to play my games almost every day, and I even started teaching him about cars. I've even brought him to my shop to introduce him to tools. He's a quick study and he even told Cassie he wants to be a mechanic like me. I told him to aim higher and become an engineer. He's now even looking into engineering programs. I think Cassie really appreciated our relationship. She became a lot more friendly with me. I got COVID during lockdown and out of the kindness of her heart she bought me groceries, cleaned my apartment and even took care of me. I was totally grateful. She even cooks dinner for me every night, and we all have dinner together. She even makes dinner for me when I work late and leaves it in my apartment. The other day Kenny brought one of his friends over to his apartment. I met the friend and he said, "This is OP, he's like my dad." Not gonna lie, that took me by surprise. I always viewed Kenny as my little brother, but here he is saying that I'm like a dad to him. I asked Cassie about this, and she seemed surprised I even asked. She said that she would never force that role on me, but that he did view me as his father. He even hoped that me and Cassie would get together so that we can be a real family. Cassie then said she wouldn't mind that either. I asked her if she was asking me out, she just smiled and said yes. I was surprised but said okay. We have a dinner date this weekend, and I'm nervous as all hell. I don't want to ruin things with Cassie and or Kenny. I really do love both of them. But I'm not sure how I feel about being the father figure for Kenny. It's a lot of responsibility and I'm not entirely sure I'm the guy for that. And Cassie, she's a really amazing woman. I just hope I can measure up to her expectations. In just asking Reddit, are my worries unfounded? Should I put some boundaries between me and Kenny? How do I not screw up with Cassie? Comment. It sounds like you were already fulfilling the job requirements before you were hired. I wouldn't worry about this OP, this sounds like the start of something beautiful. Comment. Quite literally this. You've already been doing all the right things, no reason to worry now. Just keep doing what you've been doing. Comment. He's that guy who's very good at doing something until he realizes that he's doing the thing he's good at, suddenly he panics and wonders if he's good enough to do the thing he's already been unknowingly doing. Update 1. People were asking me if I'm actually attracted to Cassie, and the answer is yes. She's one of the strongest, nicest, most considerate people I know. She constantly puts people before herself and I always wished that someone would put her first for once. And did I mention that Cassie is super pretty? I guess I just never thought Cassie would find me attractive or be interested in me that way. I was nervous as hell all week leading up to the date on Saturday. During our usual family dinners, Cassie smiled at me a lot more. I don't think Kenny noticed since he was too busy playing on his phone. Cassie not so subtly suggested to Kenny, 13M, that he go spend a weekend with his grandparents. He didn't really want to, but she pretty much pushed him out the door lol. On Saturday evening I knocked on Cassie's door and she opened it up wearing an absolutely beautiful dress. I broke the tension and asked if that dress was for me. She laughed and we went on our way. The evening was a little awkward at first, but when we were walking to the restaurant she grabbed my hand and smiled at me and it sort of got rid of the awkwardness. From there the evening went amazingly. We talked, laughed and had a great dinner. I asked her what made her change her mind about me, and she said it was the previous Christmas. For reference, Cassie is a hardworking single mom and Kenny has all of his needs met and more. But she can't afford to get him the best, and it really hurts her that she can't. She really wanted to get him a PS5 since he was begging for one, but couldn't justify the cost. Since I have disposable income, I hunted for months, checking stock drops until I finally got one. I then surprised Kenny with it on Christmas and told him it was from his mom. Cassie was shocked and even started crying. Kenny was so excited he didn't even notice her crying. All she could tell me was thank you repeatedly. Apparently that made her realize that she wanted me in both of their lives forever. She tried to deny her feelings, but it didn't work. The conversation the other day was the opening she needed to finally confess how she felt. After dinner we went back to her place for a nightcap. We talked a lot about relationship expectations and how we wanted to proceed. We agreed to be exclusive, to take it slow and not to tell Kenny about anything until we're sure that this relationship is real and strong. We don't want to give him unrealistic expectations. She also said that her calling me his dad was too much too soon and she apologized for it. She said it was wishful thinking on her part and probably would have weirded out most people. She said to accept any role with Kenny that I wanted, but she hoped that I would see Kenny as a son eventually. Sorry to disappoint everyone, but we didn't do the deed. We decided that it was much too soon. We did however have a buzzed make-out session lol. The following day we went for brunch and decided to go apple picking. It felt damn good to be walking hand in hand with someone you care about and taking lots of pictures doing silly things. At our family dinner yesterday Cassie sat close to me and was rubbing her foot on my leg. I don't think I've ever been more turned on in my life lol. I'm not gonna lie guys, I think I'm falling for Cassie and falling hard. Well anyway I think that's it, we're together now and hopefully this lasts. I don't think I want anyone else. Cassie is everything one could want in a partner, and I hope that I can be worthy of her. She's a really special person. Comment. I'm about 3 days late to this but I had to laugh when OP wrote that he wasn't sure if he was ready/capable of being a father figure. Like, dude, you already are. You have been doing it this whole time and you didn't even notice. You're ready, grasshopper. As for Cassie, I get it. I was a single mom of 3 when I married my husband and I had been celibate since my youngest was born. She was 5 when we married. But my husband and I moved seamlessly into a very healthy and robust sexual relationship. I was still a very sexual person, I was just focused on my kids, they needed me to be 100% present for them. That didn't change me, it just put it on the back burner until I married. No, we didn't have sex before we got married for personal reasons we were both in agreement on. OP, you're killing it. Don't overthink things. You're exactly who this child needs you to be and even if things don't go long-term with Cassie, you're adding so much value to his life. Things will go long-term, I refuse to believe otherwise. I also laughed when you said what your mom told you. My husband and I were talking about where our relationship was going about 4 months before we married and he used the word boundaries, which made me think he was trying to put the brakes on. We've been married 8 years now and I've learned that this is an issue for him, he uses the wrong words frequently. He was trying to say that he wanted to set up expectations for going forward, which is very different than saying boundaries. Thankfully I'm mouthy AF and called him out on it right away and he had no idea what I was talking about. Totally clueless, just like you. We've been married for 8 years next month. We had 2 kids together and when the youngest was 5 months we had a surprise adoption that popped into our laps. Now we're the parents to 6 and even more in love than when we started. Life is beautiful. It takes a strong man to take on someone's kids but you sound like you're exactly that. My husband is so loved and appreciated by all of us and they all call him Dad. He wouldn't change his life for anything in the world. I hope you get that from this relationship because you deserve it. OP, I loved reading every bit of this, thank you for the compliments and congratulations on your wonderful life. As for Cassie, yeah, I've been extremely surprised by how aggressive she's been. I'm trying to keep this page 13, but we haven't had sex yet, but let's just say that I can tell she wants it lol. As for clueless, yeah I guess I am huh. Looking back, I can't believe how clueless I really was. Comment. Just do her already. She's probably very frustrated. Respectfully, another frustrated woman with a clueless guy. OP, this was the funniest comment I've read on here so far. Believe me, I'm no choir boy and would love to take Cassie to Pound Town. But I want to respect her, and not just seem like I'm in it for the sex. Taking it slow means not running around like horny teenagers unfortunately. But I dare say things have been progressing nicely, we cross little milestones almost every day, and we're working towards the big ones. Also, it's way too early for the L word, but I don't know how to describe it as anything other than that. Since people seem to like our story I guess I'll give you a small little update. We spent Thanksgiving with her parents. Her mother always liked me and was our biggest shipper. Right away she sussed it out, I guess just by the way we were looking at each other, or our energy or something. Women are really good at that kind of stuff. Her mom pulled us aside and asked if we were together, we denied it at first, but she just gave us that, come on, face. We gave in and admitted it. She hugged me and practically squeezed the life out of me. Her mom couldn't even hide her smile the rest of the night. Meanwhile, while me and her dad were talking at dinner, Cassie was not so subtly rubbing her feet up and down my legs, causing me to stutter numerous times. Her dad asked me if I was alright. I just said I had bad heartburn. Honestly, I feel like I'm a damn high schooler again. This is also so new, dangerous and exciting. Like it's almost forbidden in a way. As for Kenny, the little man doesn't suspect a thing I think. We've been restoring a car together and that's been keeping his mind occupied. Plus he's too busy chasing his own crushes. Comment. I need an update. I hope everything is going well. OP, well I've posted a few mini ones in my history. But here's a small one. For Christmas I'm going to surprise Cassie with a weekend ski trip. She's never been and she told me years ago she wants to try it. As for Kenny, I'm going to take him to see Billie Eilish. He loves her and I'm going to get as close to the stage as I possibly can. So there you go. Update 1.5 years later. Okay, in the break room at my work, and I'm grinning like an idiot, and I don't know what to do with my hands, so I'm typing this out to get rid of all this nervous energy. I work as a mechanic and my boss called me over to the office. I thought I effed up somehow, but he had a big-ass bouquet of roses on his desk. He told me, "This is for you." I was like, WTF, but I read the card attached and it said, "Just because, love GF." My boss laughed at me and told me I had a good one and to not F it up. He did say he'd have to give me it for it, but he's happy for me. Sure enough, the boys on the floor ripped me to shreds once they heard about it. But I didn't care, I was like floating LOL. Now I'm on my break and I can't stop thinking about how much this completely caught me off guard. Can someone please talk me down from going out to buy her a ring after work? Edit. Hey everyone, I'm finally off work and I'm still really flustered, but I think I've calmed down LOL. I don't think I'm gonna get her ring today, but I have to do something. The problem is I don't know what. She deserves absolutely everything, but I can't think of anything that would equal this. I do have an idea of taking her on a last-minute romantic getaway this weekend. Also, to everyone asking, yes, the woman in my story is Cassie from my previous posts. Comment. If they already talked about marriage being a possibility, absolutely go for it. If not, maybe check with her first how she's feeling on the matter. The proposal itself can be a surprise, but marriage shouldn't be. Sorry to be the downer, I just don't want either of you to get hurt. You both sound so sweet and like an amazing couple. Comment. She sounds pretty awesome, dude. Your boss is right. Don't F this up by ever taking her for granted. She's a keeper and you have to commit to being a keeper back for her. That's what makes a loving relationship. Comment. He's a keeper, she's a keeper, her son Kenny keeper. This is a happy update that's not an update.